In our previous video, we started talking in general terms about planning a piece of writing. In this video, we're going to talk more specifically about the primary insight and how it relates to organization. In general terms, a primary insight in a piece of writing is a conclusion to an argument or a recommendation for a course of action. The primary insight is something that the reader comes to. As a writer, you are trying to lead the reader to an insight wherein they realize something or want to take some course of action. In a sense, all writing is directed at one of these outcomes. We write to change minds or to inspire action. Your organization in a writing task is going to flow from your primary insight. In other words, once you know what the primary insight is, you can ask yourself what are the steps you will need to take in order to lead your reader to that primary insight. These steps will form the basis of the various sections of your writing task. So let's look at the literacy narrative assignment. My primary insight is going to be some sort of reflection on a literacy event in my life. In order to lead my audience to that, though, I'm going to need to introduce what I'm doing in the piece of writing. I'll need to write an introduction. I'll need to describe the actual literacy event that I'll be reflecting on. At that point, I'll be able to reflect on the significance of the literacy event in my life. And finally, I'll need to conclude the larger piece of writing. At this point, then, we know that we'll need at least 4 general sections in our writing project in order to lead our readers to the primary insight. This is really general plan for this project, but it's a starting point. The next step in planning would be to take each section and break it down into its component parts. The degree of detail that one gets to in their planning is going to vary from project to project. In our next video, we'll talk about these different levels of planning in a writing task.